Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the campus of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, where the Blue Devils will host the Barton Cougars for the second game of the playoff today of the three-game series. Barton County won the first one yesterday, so the Blue Devils baseball year is on the line this afternoon. Thanks for joining. We'll see what we can bring you today, and here we go. Number 6, the shortstop, Andrew Stewart. Comes the first pitch to Stewart, and he gets one past Holder into left field for a base hit. Stewart was 1 for 3 on the day yesterday, and he starts this day off with a base hit into left field. Number 4, the right fielder, Harrison Denk. Outside, ball 1. Want to know the count on Dank. Harrison Dank, the right fielder, he was 2 for 3 yesterday. There's a throw over to first. Gets away from the first baseman, and Stewart moves to second base. So a base hit, an errant throw to first base, and scoring position is Stewart for the hitter Dank. Out in front is Goodfellow to set up the defense. Outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count on Dank. Early going, second batter. The Cougars won the first game yesterday. The Blue Devils will try and battle to get a win today so they can send this game to a game, or the series to a game tomorrow. It's going to come a runner to home, so very quickly 1 run scored for the Cougars. Now batting the left fielder, number 32, Noah Geeky. Strike called. 0-1 the count on Geeky. 1 run in after 2 batters for the Cougars. The number 3 hitter, Geeky. Geeky was 1 for 4 yesterday, had a bunt hit. The chopper up the middle, going to have to hurry. And that's going to be an infield hit for Noah Geeky. Number 3, the catcher, Chandler Boomer. Boomer was 0 for 3 on the day yesterday, but he did have a hit by pitch and a sacrifice bunt. He'll be up there with nobody out and runners at first and second. Squares to bunt. Pulls back outside, ball one. 1-0 the count to the catcher, Boomer. One run in after a hit. The runner moved to second base on a pickoff attempt that gets away from Sosa. And then the base hit scores the runner, Stewart. Here comes the 1-0. Bunt back to the screen and foul. Goodfellow out with another defensive call on how they're going to handle the bunt. Runners at first and second, still nobody out. One ball, one strike, nobody out. And the sacrifice bunt by Boomer. Number 5, the designated hitter, Charlie Pila. Pila will step in. He was 2 for 5 on the day yesterday. Had a double and a triple. He'll be up there with one out. Runners at second and third. One run in, one out. Pila, the designated hitter, at the plate. Orlando Ortiz on the mound, 3.62 ERA. There's a pop-up on the infield. Taking care of that is Kemper Bednar for the second out of the inning. Number 23, the third baseman, Tyler Bandera. 2 outs, runners at second and third. Bandera was 1 for 3 yesterday's game. Inside and high, ball one. He had a hit by pitch and a base hit, was out on a line drive, a wicked line drive at Brady Holder at third base. That stayed inside to load the bases with a hit by pitch. Number 16, the first baseman, Nolan Riley. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Riley at the plate. Riley was 0 for 2 on the day yesterday with a couple of walks. Strike called outside corner at the waist. 1 run in here in the top of the first. Ortiz and the Blue Devils hoping to get out of this with only 1 run scored, but the bases are loaded with 2 outs. 0-1 the count on Riley. Little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Holder at third, Bednar at short, Harder at second, Sosa at first. In left is Hinestroza, center field Acosta, and right field Henry. Behind the plate, Goodfellow with Ortiz on the mound. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the stretch and the pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count on Nolan Riley, the first baseman. Comes the 2-1. Outside, ball 3. So 3-1 the count. A lot of noise coming from the Cougars dugout. They've got some confidence after the game yesterday. Here comes the 3-1. Strike at the knees on the outside corner. So the runners will be going. 3-2 the count, 2 outs. Comes the 3-2. The fly ball to right field. Going back deep is Tyler Henry, and he's got it for the 3rd out. So at the end of a half an inning, the Cougars have won. Your Blue Devils coming to bat. Ick, you can. So we go to the bottom of the 1st. Blue Devils down 1. They'll send Acosta, Santiago, and Hinestroza to the plate. On the mound for the Cougars, Easton Smith. Number 16, the center fielder, Eduardo Acosta. Misses just a little bit inside, ball 1. Eduardo was 1 for 4 yesterday. Had a triple to lead off the game. The fly ball headed into center field. Chandler Kelly to take care of that for the 1st out of the inning. Now batting number 26, the designated hitter, Kevin Santiago. Inside, ball 1.
Thanks, guys.
1-0 the count to Santiago. There's a breaking ball right through there for a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 1st. High and inside, ball 2. So 2-1 to Santiago. 1 out. Acosta led off the game with a fly to center field. Here comes the 2-1. Foul ball back to the screen. So 2-2 the count to the designated hitter, Santiago. Comes the 2-2, high and inside. So the count goes full on Santiago. Easton Smith, a 2.88 ERA on the year. Ball 4, low and outside. The left fielder, number 7, Eric Hinestroza. It's a foul ball out of play down the third baseline. Oh and 1 the count, 1 out. Santiago at first after the 1 out walk. The ball headed for the gap in right center, going to be extra bases. Hinestroza into second base with a double and moves Santiago over to third. So runners at second and third with 1 out for Sosa. Number 30, the first baseman, Jose Sosa. Runners at second and third. Here comes the first pitch. That's right through there. Strike called, 0-1. At third base is Santiago. There's a foul ball, so quickly 0-2 the count on Sosa. 1 run scored in the top half of the inning for the Cougars. The Blue Devils trying to respond to tie it up or take a lead if we can get something on the outfield grass. Here comes the pitch to Sosa. Swing and a miss for the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Tyler Henry. The right fielder, number 25, Tyler Henry. So 2 outs now with runners at second and third to Henry. See if Henry can get a 2-out hit. He takes a strike. Ball right through there for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. There's a ball headed down the left field line, but foul. 0-2 the count. He gets one of those in the fair down in that corner, score a couple runs and end up on second or third. The Blue Devils could use that for sure right now. 0-2 the count. Easton Smith on the mound for the Cougars. Here comes the 0-2. Foul ball, the bat up above his head, and a ball that's way up and out of the zone hits the bat. So we'll do the 0-2 again. There's a ball headed at the second baseman over to first base for the out. So at the end of a full inning, the Blue Devils trail 1-0. We'll be back. Here we go to the top half of the second inning. Erickson, Kelly, and then back to the top of the order for Stewart. Scheduled up at the end of one. The Cougars lead 1-0. Now batting the second baseman, number 15, Brett Erickson. Erickson fouls the first pitch away. Erickson was 1 for 3 on the day yesterday. Had a base hit and a sac bunt. Comes the 0-1. It's a ground ball over to Holder. He's up with it. Over to first base to Sosa for the first out of the inning. Now batting the center fielder, number 12, Chandler Kelly. There's a ground ball back to the pitcher, Ortiz. He's over to Sosa for the second out of the inning. So 2 down. That's going to be back to the top of the order and bring up Stewart. Now batting, number 6, Andrew Stewart. Stewart takes strike 1. He had a base hit to lead off the game. Just got it past Holder into left field and scored the run of the game for the Cougars. That's strike 2 called right at the belt on the outside corner. So down in the count, 0-2 is Andrew Stewart, the shortstop. Here comes the 0-2. High fastball blows it right by him. So at the end of 1.5, a very quick inning there for Ortiz. Blue Devils are down 1. We go to the bottom of the second. We'll be back. Here we go to the bottom half of the second. Goodfellow, Harder, and Bednar scheduled up. Now batting the catcher, number 2, J.T. Goodfellow. Inside for the first pitch from Goodfellow. Goodfellow was 0 for 2 with a base on balls during the game yesterday. There's a ball headed into left field for a base hit. So Goodfellow leads off the second inning with a base hit. That's going to bring up Harder. Harder will be up there with nobody out and a runner at first. Now batting number 13, the second baseman, Trace Harder. Comes the pitch. Ground ball cut off by the third baseman, but he has no play at second, so he goes to first. So the first out of the inning, but it moves Goodfellow to second base. Now batting the shortstop, number 8, Kemper Bednar. outside, ball one. Goodfellow at second base. Comes the 1-0. Fly ball into right field. Tagging it second is Goodfellow on the way to third. And a sacrifice fly to move Goodfellow over to third. It's going to bring up Brady Holder. Now batting the third baseman, number 10, Brady Holder. Strike on the inside corner. Holder was 0 for 3 yesterday. Comes the wind and the 0-1. Squares to bunt. The bunt is down. And that's going to be an RBI base hit bunt for Holder. Number 16, Eduardo Acosta. So the throw gets away over at first base. And Holder moves to second base. Acosta will step back in. He flew out to center field, his first at bat in this game today. Got a runner at second with 2 outs. Outside, ball one. The runner at second base is Holder. Acosta at the plate. 1-0 the count. Just missed a little bit low. 2-0 the count. Each team with 1 run on 3 hits. The Blue Devils with an error. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Smith. Just a little bit low and outside. So 3-0 the count to Eduardo Acosta, the center fielder. Comes the stretch and the 3-0. There's a strike outside corner at the knees, 3-1. One tie as the Blue Devils bat here in the bottom of the second. Cougars won the first game yesterday, 3-game series this weekend. Pitch is a little bit low for ball 4. So that's going to bring up Santiago. Number 26, Kevin Santiago. Runners at first and second. Santiago walked his first time up. It's a ball right into left field, right at the left fielder, Geeky. Geeky takes care of that. At the end of 2 innings, we're tied at 1. We'll be back. To the top of the third we go. Dank, Geeky, and Boomer scheduled up for the Cougars. Now batting number 4, Harrison Dank. Harrison Dank had a base hit, an RBI base hit his first time up. Swings and fouls that one away over the third base dugout. Oh, and 1 the count on the right fielder, Dank. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Comes the 1-1 from Ortiz, way inside. 2 balls and a strike. Comes the 2-1. Fly ball into right field. Coming in hard for that is Tyler Henry. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Geeky. Number 32, Noah Geeky. He had a base hit his first time up, a high chopper over the pitcher's mound. No play to be made. 1-0 the count to him. There's a strike called. 1 ball and a strike with 1 out. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 run for each team. There's a breaking ball, just catches the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Comes the 1-2, way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Noah Geeky, the left fielder. Sun is shining, light breeze out of the north. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss, ball drops down. Goodfellow down to Sosa to record the out for the second out of the inning. Now batting number 3, Chandler Bonner. Pardon me, number 3, Chandler Bloomer. 62-year-old eyes, everyone. Sorry about that. Not sure what the discussion is here. Okay, we're doing the check maybe for the question being as if maybe Geeky fouled that ball and it was not held by Goodfellow. That's going to be hard to overrule from a standpoint that it was a foul ball, especially after the fact. So we'll see they're going to at least explain to Coach Golbeck. Golbeck not very happy with the change in this. So we'll have to check and see what the count is. So the out was not recorded. They're going to call that a foul ball. that Geeky hit down, so Geeky will still be the batter. There is a foul ball down and away. We'll see what the count is if the umpire puts that up. So 2-2 with one out. Here comes the pitch. There's another foul ball back to the screen. When a decision is made like that, there's always the extra pressure on the pitcher to get the strikeout and the batter to come back from the strikeout. So here comes the 2-2. There's a foul ball. So since the decision was made to bring him back and it was not a strikeout, he has fouled off 3 straight pitches. Comes the pitch and a strikeout. So the strikeout now becomes official. Now batting number 3, Chandler Bloomer. Two outs. Bloomer had a sac bunt his first time up. He steps in with 2 outs. Nobody on. The first pitch was a ball, so 1-0 the count. Way inside ball 2. Ortiz a little bit overthrowing the last couple of pitches after the decision made on the Geeky strikeout. Needs to settle down, get back in a rhythm. Here comes the wind and the 2-0. There's a ground ball headed over to first base. Sosa knocks it down, grabs it, steps on the bag for the out. So at the end of 2.5, we're tied at 1. So we go to the bottom half of the third. Blue Devils and the Cougars of Barton tied up at 1. Hinostroza, Sosa, and Henry scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Smith back to the mound for another inning of work. Now batting number 7, Eric Hinostroza. Comes the first pitch as Hinostroza leads off the bottom of the third for the Blue Devils, tied at 1. He takes a strike called on the outside corner. Each team with a run and 3 hits. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and one, the count. There's a foul ball out of play. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Eric Hinostroza. He had a double into the right center gap his first time up. Comes the wind from Smith and the 1-2. And there's a base hit right back up the middle for Hinostroza. So a 2-hit game for Eric. Number 30, Jose Sosa. It's a foul ball, a little bit late swinging there. He gets that in between the lines, and they're off and running. But a little too late, so foul, 0-1 the count. Hinestroza at first. Sosa at the plate, swings through that breaking ball. So down in the count, 0-2 is Sosa. Comes the 0-2. Fly ball to center field. The center fielder, Kelly, takes care of that. Back to first is Hinestroza. It's going to bring up Tyler Henry. Henry will be up there with one out and a runner at first. Now batting number 25, Tyler Henry. Comes the pitch from Smith. There's a base hit into left center. On the way to third is Hinestroza. So runners at first and third and one out for Goodfellow. Now batting number 2, JT Goodfellow. Runners at first and third, one out. That pitch misses inside. Ball 1 to Goodfellow. Goodfellow had a base hit to lead off the top of the bottom of the second, and then scored the run on Holder's RBI hit. That misses outside. 2-0 the count. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Smith, the 2-0. Foul ball. So 2-1 the count on Goodfellow. Hinestroza at third. Henry at first. Goodfellow at the plate. Squares to bunt, gets it to the pitcher side the first base side, and a sac bunt by JT Goodfellow to score the second run for the Blue Devils. Now batting number 13, Trace Harder. Ball 1. Want to know the count. There's a ball headed into right field. Henry is going to score, so an RBI base hit for Harder. Going to get a visit to the mound. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with any changes. Squares to bunt does Kemper Bednar. He's up there with 2 outs and a runner at first. Takes ball 1, so 1-0. Comes the 1-0 from Smith. Misses just a little bit inside. Harder at first. Bednar at the plate. 2 runs in the inning. Misses just a little bit low and outside. Three to 1 the lead. Just now got that updated. Here comes the 3-0. There's a strike right through there. Bednar at the plate, 3-1 the count. I wouldn't rule out a bunt here. We'll see. Comes the 3-1. That's high and inside. Ball 4. So that's going to bring up Holder. Holder had an RBI base hit his last time. We're going to have a visit to the mound. We'll have a change. We'll be back after that change. Blue Devils leading 3-1 here in the bottom of the 3rd. So the pitching change is made. There's a strike called from the lefty, Jacob Inns, 3.94 ERA. Runners at first and second. Brady Holder steps in. He had an RBI base hit his last time up. Foul ball. So 0-2 quickly on Holder. Just a little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Barton crowd thought they had an inning-ending strikeout there, but ruled outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Holder. It's a ground ball to the shortstop. Stewart up with it over to the first baseman, Riley. Stewart to Riley to retire the Blue Devils. So at the end of 3, the Blue Devils lead 3-1. We'll be back. Here we go to the top of the fourth inning. Pila, Bandera, and Riley scheduled up. Ortiz back for another inning of work. Now batting number 5, Charlie Pila. Pila popped out to the shortstop over behind second base his first time up. Comes the wind and the pitch. Ball 1. Three to 1 lead for the Blue Devils. Cougars batting here in the top of the fourth. There's a little ground ball out in foul territory down the third baseline. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pila, the designated hitter. Comes the 1-1. Strike called at the waist. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This strike zone of this umpire is full up to the waist, but it's consistent. Here comes the 1-2. There's a little nubber out toward Ortiz. He's going to grab it and step on first. Sosa was playing deep, so 1 unassisted to get Pila. Now batting number 23, Tyler Bandera. It's going to bring up Bandera. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. He'll be up there with 1 out and nobody on. Takes a strike right at the low part of the zone. A really boisterous Cougar crowd on that call. Here comes the 0-1. Misses low and outside, so 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To Bandera, the third baseman. There's a ground ball foul of third base. So 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out to Bandera. Ortiz with the wind and the 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a foul ball, so we'll do the 2-2 again. Comes the 2-2. Little pop up over to the third base dugout. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Ortiz in his 4th inning of work. Facing the third baseman, Bandera. Here comes the wind and the 2-2. There's a defensive swing, just gets a piece of it to stay alive. Comes the wind and the 2-2. There's a ball headed into center field, and Acosta with the catch. A nice sliding, diving play by Acosta to get Bandera. Number 16, Nolan Riley. It's going to bring up Nolan Riley. Riley flew out to right field his first time up. Strike called at the knees on the outside corner, 0-1. Comes the pitch. Low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Comes the wind in the 1-1. There's a ball just foul over by third base. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ortiz to Riley, the first baseman. Comes the wind in the 1-2. There's a ball hit just into right center for a base hit. So a little bat control hit for Riley for a 2-out hit. It's going to bring up Erickson. Now batting number 15, Brett Erickson. Erickson grounded out to Holder at third base his first time up. Strike called at the knees. 0-1 the count. Riley at first. Erickson at the plate. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Goodfellow started to chuck a throw down to Sosa, decided better. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first. Cougars batting here in the top of the 4th. There's a nicely blocked ball in the dirt by Goodfellow. 2-1 the count. Three to 1 lead here in the top of the 4th. The Cougars took the first game yesterday. The Blue Devils, to stay alive in the tournament, has to win today. There's a ground ball at Bednar. Bednar over to Harder for the 3rd out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Devils leading 3-1. We'll be back. Here we go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Devils leading 3-1. Acosta, Santiago, and Hinestroza scheduled up for the Blue Devils. The center fielder, Eduardo Acosta. Acosta has flown out and walked in this game. He'll step in to lead off the bottom of the 4th. Curveball just breaks a little inside, 1-0. Comes the pitch. Misses a little bit low and outside, so 2-0. Jacob Benz on in relief of Easton Smith. He's 2-0 to Acosta. There's a swing and a miss of a high fastball. So 2-1 the count. Nobody out as Acosta leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Blue Devils. They've got 3 runs on 6 hits. They committed 1 error. Comes the 2-1. Ground ball headed toward shortstop. Stewart up with that and over to Riley for the 1st out of the inning. the designated hitter, Kevin Santiago. Santiago has a base on balls and lined out to left field. He takes strike one called, much to the delight of the Cougar fans. 0-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Comes the pitch. That's inside, so 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The Blue Devils batting with a 2-run lead as they bat here in the bottom of the fourth. 9 innings scheduled game. That's high and outside, 2-1 the count. The Blue Devils trying to win the second game. The Cougars won the first one yesterday to push a Game 3 tomorrow, 3-game series. That ball is a breaking ball that just gets down to the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a pitch right there you hate to see called a strike because you certainly don't want your players swinging at it. Here comes the 2-2. There's a little popper out just to deep shortstop, and Stewart takes care of that for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Hinestroza. Now batting the left fielder, Eric Hinestroza. Hinestroza has a couple of base hits, a double, then a single. He fouls that one back, so 1-0 to him, or 0-1 to him. 2 outs now. Here in the bottom of the fourth. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Inns. There's a little drag bunt. Inns has it and over to Riley for the out. So at the end of 4, Blue Devils lead 3-1. We'll be back. To the top of the 5th we go. Ortiz back for another inning of work. He'll face Kelly, Stewart, and Dank. Now batting number 12, Chandler Kelly. Kelly has grounded out back to the pitcher. He takes strike 1. 0-1 the count. Here comes the wind and the pitch from Ortiz. That's going to be strike 2 called. So quickly, 0-2. Ortiz ahead of Kelly, the number 9 hitter, leading off here in the top of the 5th. Comes the 0-2. And that fastball is right by him. He didn't try and make him chase. He just blew one by him for the first out of the inning. Now batting the shortstop, Andrew Stewart. Stewart steps in. He takes strike 1 on the outside corner. 0-1 the count on the shortstop for the Cougars. There's a fly ball headed into right field. Back for that is Tyler Henry for the second out of the inning. Number 4, Harrison Dank. Dank steps in. He's had a base hit and a fly out. His base hit was an RBI hit for the one run that the Cougars have. He takes ball 1. So 1-0 the count. That pitch misses inside. So 2-0 the count on the right fielder, Harrison Dank. Comes the 2-0. That ball hits him. So a 2-out hit by a pitch. Now batting, the left fielder, Noah Geeky. Geeky's had a base hit and a strikeout. Outside, ball 1. Want to know the count. Runner at first is Dank. There's a throw over, back in safely is Dank. Want to know the count, 2 outs. Runner goes, swing and a miss. JT Goodfellow could not get a handle on that, so 1 ball, 1 strike. Dank with a stolen base. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Geeky, the left fielder, at the plate. Comes the 1-1. Try and get everybody comfortable here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Geeky at the plate. Pickoff play back at second. Cougars scored 1 in the first. Blue Devils scored 1 in the second, 2 in the third for the 3-1 lead that the Blue Devils have currently. Runner at second, 2 outs. The ground ball just gets past Holder into left field. That's going to be an RBI hit for Noah Geeky. Now batting the catcher, Chandler Bloomer. So an RBI hit for Geeky brings it 3-2 the score. So he's now at second base. There's a ground ball off the pitcher and over to Bednar. So off of Ortiz's leg to Bednar, over to Sosa for the out, but the Cougars get 1 run. We're 3-2. The Blue Devils lead. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. To the bottom of the fifth we go. Blue Devils leading 3-2 now. It's going to be Sosa, Henry, and Goodfellow scheduled up for the Blue Devils. The first baseman, Jose Sosa. Sosa steps in. He struck out and flew out to center field. There's a ball I thought was off of his foot and over to first. So ends over to Riley for the first out. It's going to bring up Tyler Henry. Henry will step in with nobody on and one out. The right fielder, Tyler Henry. One out. There's a strike right through there. 0-1 the count. 3-2 the lead now. Comes the 0-1. Stays a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To the right fielder, Tyler Henry. He's 1 for 2 with a base hit and a run scored. Swing and a miss of that curveball. The breaking ball just gets past the bat, so 1-2 the count on Tyler Henry. Ends on in relief. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout of Henry for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Goodfellow. Now batting the catcher, JT Goodfellow. Goodfellow takes outside, ball 1. He bats here with 2 down and nobody on. The Blue Devils' bottom half of the 5th inning. Comes the left-handed pitch from Inns. There's a ball hit into left field. That's going to be a 2-out hit. Falls right in front of Noah Geeky for the base hit. It's going to bring up Trace Harder. He'll step in with 2 outs and a runner at first. Now batting the second baseman, Trace Harder. Comes the pitch. That misses a little bit inside. Runner at first is Goodfellow. Harder at the plate. Here comes the pitch. There's a ball down the right field line. And a nice play made by the first baseman over there for the third out of the inning. So we go to the top of the 6th. Blue Devils leading 3-2. Here we go to the top half of the 6th inning. This is a scheduled 9-inning game. Blue Devils trying to send this series into a 1-1 tie to force a game tomorrow. Scheduled up is Pila, Bandera, and Riley. Now batting the designated hitter, Charlie Pila. Pila has popped out to the shortstop and out unassisted on a ground ball back to the pitcher. That misses outside, ball one. Had a ball hit toward Sosa. Sosa playing deep, and Ortiz got it about halfway between first and pitcher's mound. Stepped on the bag for the out. There's a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Charlie Pila. He bats here leading off the top of the 6th for his Cougars. There's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ortiz has gone all the way so far. Comes the wind and the 1-2. Strike 3 called. That's going to bring up Bandera. The third baseman, Tyler Bandera. Bandera's been hit by a pitch and flew out to center field. There's a strike called outside corner at the knees. So 0-1 the count, 1 out. Comes the wind and the pitch from Ortiz. There's a foul ball back to the screen. Holder at third. Bednar at short. Harder at second. Sosa at first. Hinestroza in left. Acosta in center. Henry in right. Good fellow behind the plate. There's a swing and a miss. Throw down to first base after the ball dropped for the second out of the inning. So 2 strikeouts in the inning. That's going to bring up number 16, Nolan Riley. Takes ball 1, 1-0. There's a strike right through there at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. To Nolan Riley, the first baseman. Comes the 1-1. There's a ball headed down the left field line and foul. A long, loud line drive strike makes it 1-2. Comes the wind and the pitch. There's a foul ball into the net. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Comes the wind and the 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Cougars batting here in the top half of the 6th inning. They trail by 1. Swing and a miss. Ortiz strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th with the Blue Devils leading 3-2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Now batting the shortstop, Kemper Bednar. Bednar leads off. He's had a fly out and a walk. That ball's way inside, ball 1. Bednar leads off the bottom half of the 6th for the Blue Devils. They lead by 1. A little bit low. 2-0 the count. Inns has been in since 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Lefty for Barton. 3-0, that misses inside. So I'm guessing as a leadoff hitter, Bednar will be taking all the way on this pitch. There's a striker right through there, and he was taking. So 3-1 the count on Bednar. Comes the pitch. Curveball fouled over to the third base dugout. Now 3-2 the count. Breaking pitch probably would have ended up being a ball, but nonetheless fouled away. Comes the 3-2. Way outside and high, ball 4. Now batting the third baseman, Brady Holder. Holder steps in with a runner at first, nobody out. Squares to bunt, takes strike 1. Holder has an RBI bunt hit and a ground out. 0-1 the count on him. Squares to bunt, bunts it in the air over the screen. So 0-2 the count on Holder. Bednar at first. Holder at the plate, Inns on the mound. There's a fly ball headed into center field. Over to take a look at that is the center fielder, Kelly, and he puts that away for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Acosta. He'll be up there with 1 out and 1 on. Now batting the center fielder, Eduardo Acosta. Acosta, it's a fly out, a walk, and a ground out. Runner goes, swings at the pitch, and Bednar is in there with a stolen base. So high and outside, but Acosta give up a strike to kind of wave at that to help out as much as he could. Bednar has a stolen base. So Bednar at second base with Acosta up. 0-1 the count. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. Comes the 0-1. There's a breaking ball, makes it back to the strike zone. So 0-2 the count on the center fielder, Acosta. Time asked for by Acosta and granted. Oh and 2. Runner at second, 1 out. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be down in front. Going to hold him up. Costa's going to move to second base. So a base hit. Could not get the run home, but runners now at second and third with one out. It's going to bring up Santiago. Now batting the designated hitter, Kevin Santiago. Santiago has a base on balls, a line drive out, and a pop out to the shortstop. He'll be up there with one out and two on. There's a strike, catches the outside corner, 0-1. Bednar at third, Acosta at second, one out, Santiago at the plate. Lefty ends on the mound for the Barton Cougars. Comes the pitch. There's a flare down the right field line, but just foul. 0-2 on Santiago now. Blue Devils clinging to a 3-2 lead as they bat here in the bottom of the sixth, 9-inning scheduled game. 3-game series, best of two winner goes to Wichita. The first game went to Barton Cougars yesterday. Blue Devils trying to get this one to send a game to tomorrow. There's a strike three called right down the middle, but at the lower part of the plate for the second out. That's going to bring up Hinestroza. He'll be up there with two outs and two on. Number 7, Eric Hinestroza. Going to get a visit to the mound. See if they're going to make a change. And 2 the count, or no count. We're going to have two outs. Runners at second and third. Hinestroza coming to the plate. So Hinestroza steps in. Comes the stretch and the first pitch to him. That ball just catches the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Bednar at third. Acosta at second. Two outs with Hinestroza, the left fielder, at the plate. Comes the 0-1. It's going to be strike two called. 0-2 the count. So now Hinestroza, Eric will have to battle here with an 0-2 count. He swings at that pitch and dropped. So the third out of the inning, we go to the top of the seventh. Blue Devils have a 3-2 lead. Stay with us. We'll be back for the end of this one. Top of the 7th, action we go. Erickson, Kelly, and Stewart scheduled up. Now batting the second baseman, Brett Erickson. Erickson has grounded out twice so far. Ortiz back to the mound for another inning of work. And Ortiz hits Erickson, so a leadoff hit by a pitch. It's going to bring up Chandler Kelly. Now batting the center fielder, Chandler Kelly. So a runner at first, nobody out. Throw over to first base, back in safely is Erickson. Comes the pitch, squares to bunt. Pulls it back for ball one. Does Kelly. Kelly is grounded back to the pitcher and struck out so far today. He's up there with Erickson at first after that hit by a pitch. There comes the 1-0. Squares to bunt again. Hits his bat twice. He's still in the box. So 1-1 the count on Kelly. The Blue Devils clinging to a 3-2 lead. The Cougars trying to get it tied back up. Batter asked for time, and it's granted. Comes the 1-1, squares to bunt. Offers, and it is a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on the center fielder, Chandler Kelly. Erickson at first. Back in safely on the pick attempt. Ortiz over to Sosa. One ball, 2 strikes. Nicely blocked by Goodfellow. 2-2 the count. Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Cougars batting here in the top of the 7th. There's a swing and a miss for a strikeout. So 1 out, that's going to bring up Stewart. Now batting the shortstop, Andrew Stewart. Stewart's had a base hit, a strikeout, and a fly out. He'll be up there with 1 out and a runner at first in Erickson. There's a throw over to first, back in safely. Ortiz at his 7th inning of work. There's a ground ball to Holder. Holder over to Harder. Harder makes no return throw, so they get a fielder's choice for the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Harrison Dank. Now batting the right fielder, Harrison Dank. Dank's had an RBI base hit, a fly out, and hit by a pitch and a stolen base. Pitch out, nothing going. Runner at first is Erickson. He had a leadoff hit by pitch and a strikeout and a ground out since then for 2 outs. the stretch and the 1-0. Throw over to first, back in safely. Want to know the count? 2 outs. To date, Dank, the only left-handed pitch batter we have seen from Barton. That ball misses inside. 2-0 the count. Runner goes. Bednar up with it and over to first. So Bednar over to Sosa for the third out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Devils lead 3-2. Stay with us. Jose Sosa will lead off the bottom of the 7th for the Blue Devils. That ball misses inside. Sosa has a strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out. So it's about time for him to be on base, get things going here to get some insurance. Here comes the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count on the first baseman. Jose Sosa ends back for another inning of work for the Cougars. There's a foul ball off the foot of Jose Sosa. Sosa, Henry, and Goodfellow scheduled up if anybody gets on harder. 3-2 lead. Bottom of the 7th action. Scheduled 9-inning game. Blue Devils trying to force a game 3. That ball misses just a little bit up. 3-1 the count to the leadoff hitter Sosa here in the bottom of the 7th. Ball's outside for ball 4. So a leadoff walk issued to Sosa. It's going to bring up Tyler Henry. Now batting the right fielder, Tyler Henry. Gosh dang it. Sorry about that. We have a visit to the mound. That's my gosh dang it. I don't like doing the information ahead of time. So we're going to have a pitching change. Stay with us. We'll be back. Clay Westbrooks will be the new pitcher for the Cougars. He has a 3.15 ERA, number 42. All right, so Tyler Henry will step in. Swing and a miss of that. First pitch offered by Westbrooks. Henry has grounded out, had a base hit, scored a run, and struck out. Comes the 0-1. High pop out. Pop up here on the first base side. Oh, and that ball just does get dropped by the first baseman right at the edge of the dugout. So a little new life for Tyler Henry on that one. Blue Devils clinging to a 3-2 lead. Base on balls, lead off. Base on balls to Sosa. He's at first. There's a foul ball back to the screen. So 0-2 the count after 4 pitches, I believe, to Tyler Henry. Sosa at first. Henry at the plate with nobody out. Blue Devils trying to get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 7th. Foul ball back and out of play. Clay Westbrooks on in relief. Right-handed pitcher really comes over the top with his pitches. 0-2 the count. Breaking pitch stayed up just a little bit upstairs. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's a tough pitch to take, but it's a tough pitch to hit as well. So 1-2 the count. To Tyler Henry, the right fielder. The fly ball lifted into center field. Underneath that is Chandler Kelly to take care of it for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Goodfellow. He'll be up there with 1 out and 1 on. Now batting number 2, JT Goodfellow. Goodfellow steps in. He's had a base hit, scored a run, a sac bunt for an RBI, and a base hit. Runner at first is Sosa. Goodfellow at the plate with 1 out. Comes the 0-1. There's a foul ball back and out of play. Oh, and 2 the count after that foul ball. 1 out, runner at first. Comes the 0-2. It's a swing and a miss for a strikeout. So far, the Blue Devils not been able to capitalize on that leadoff walk. That's going to bring up Harder. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first. Now batting the second baseman, Trace Harder. It's a foul ball grounded down by Coach Goldback, and his one-handed grab ended in an error, but nonetheless foul. 0-1 the count. Outside, nicely blocked by the catcher, Chandler Bloomer. One ball, one strike, 2 outs. Harder at the plate. Sosa at first. He had a leadoff walk. 2 outs since then. Here comes the pitch. There's a foul ball out of play down the right field line. So 1-2 the count on Trace Harder. Comes the 1-2. Runner goes. And stolen base for Sosa. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Westbrooks. Foul ball back to the screen, so we'll do the 2-2 again. Sosa at second. Just misses a little bit inside, so 3-2 the count. Clay Westbrooks with the overhand spinner, and it did not break back to the edge of the plate, much to the dismay of the Cougar fans. Here comes the 3-2. Fly ball headed into center field. Chandler Kelly takes care of that at the end of 7. Blue Devils lead 3-2. Stay with us. We'll be back. To the top of the 8th we go. Scheduled up Geeky, Bloomer, and Pila. Now batting the left fielder, Noah Geeky. Geeky has a base hit, an RBI double, and there's a ball headed for the corner, going to be extra bases. He's going to have his second double of the day, so a leadoff double by Geeky. Geeky has 3 hits and an RBI today, a single and 2 doubles. That's going to bring up Bloomer, the catcher. Now batting the catcher, Chandler Bloomer. Good chance that Bloomer will be up there bunting. We'll see. Comes the stretch and the pitch. Ortiz still on the mound. There's a swing and a miss. So not bunting at this point, maybe with him at second base. Doesn't figure he needs a sack, so 0-1 the count. on the catcher, Bloomer. Comes the 0-1. It's a ground ball headed at the second baseman. Harder up with it over to Sosa, and that moves Geeky over to third base. Now batting the designated hitter, Charlie Pila. Pila steps in. He's had a fly out, a ground out, and a called out on strikes. He's up there with one out and a runner at third base. The runner at third, Geeky with the double, and then moved up on the ground ball. Here's the stretch and the 0-1, way outside. Blocked nicely by Goodfellow. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and 1 on. And the Blue Devils clinging to a 1-run lead. Comes the stretch and the 1-1 by Ortiz, high and outside. So Ortiz has gone all the way. He's in his 8th inning of work. Two balls, 1 strike. The tying run at third for the Cougars. It's a ground ball at Bednar, and he took his eye off of it, but they get the out at first, but the run scores. He'd have had a play at home. It's going to bring up, now batting, the third baseman, Tyler Bandera. So the ground ball to the shortstop, playing in tight, gets the out, but an RBI for Pilot to tie the game at 3. So 2 outs. 0-1 the count on Bandera. There's a ball in the dirt and all the way back to the screen. So 2-0 the count. 2-0 the count on the third baseman, Bandera. All knotted up at 3 here in the top of the 8th. The ball's inside. So 3-0 the count on Tyler Bandera. Comes the stretch and the 3-0. Strike on the outside corner. Strike called 3-1. Strike 2 called. Lower part of the zone, but nonetheless a strike. So 3-2 the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Third base coach wants to have a little visit with Bandera here. Comes the 3-2. It's a ground ball. Bednar up with it and over to first. The ball gets past Sosa. So a ball deep in the hole, I'm going to guess that's going to be a base hit. Anyway, then he's going to move to second on the air. Now batting number 16, the first baseman, Nolan Riley. It's going to bring up Riley. Riley's got a base hit, a ground out, and a fly out. Strike called. Right down the middle, bottom part of the zone, 0-1 the count. Runner at second base. Riley, the first baseman, up there with 2 outs and a runner at second base in Bandera. There's a ball just a little bit foul of third base. So 0-2 the count on Riley. All knotted up at 3 with the Cougars batting here in the top of the 8th. Ground ball to the third baseman, Holder over to Sosa. So the Cougars get 1. They tie it at 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. All right, here we go to the bottom of the 8th. Now batting the shortstop, Kemper Bednar. There's a strike right at the knees on the outside corner. 0-1 the count on Bednar. Bednar is a fly out, 2 walks, and a stolen base. Outside ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to the shortstop as he leads off the bottom of the 8th for the Blue Devils. We're all knotted up at 3. The ground ball headed at the second baseman. He's up with it. So Erickson over to Riley for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Brady Holder. The third baseman, Brady Holder. Strike called the first pitch to Holder. He's got an RBI bunt hit and a ground out and a fly out. He's up there with 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th with 1 out. Ball's high, so 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To the third baseman, Brady Holder. Outside, ball 1. Brett Erickson leads off the top of the 9th. We're tied at 3. Ortiz still on the mound. Misses. 2-0. Erickson with a couple of ground outs and a hit by pitch. Little technical difficulty. I hope that everything is now, it appears to be going okay. Two and 0 the count on Erickson. There's a strike inside part of the plate at the knees. Ground ball to the shortstop. Kemper Bednar over to Jose Sosa for the first out. Have your attention, please. Pinch hitter Carson Zanger, number 10 to hit for the Cougars. Takes high ball one. Want to know the count on Zanger, the pinch hitter. Ground ball off of his foot. Back steps in Zanger. There's a strike called, so 1 ball, 2 strikes to Zanger. He's pinch hitting for Kelly, the center fielder. Comes the 1-2. Foul ball out of play over the first base dugout. So in a battle with Zanger is Ortiz. In the 9th inning, top of the inning for the Cougars. Way outside. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes with an out. So knotted up at 3-3 here in the 9th. Comes the 2-2. Just misses. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A little bit of movement on the ball just made that go a little bit low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ortiz to Zanger. It's a ground ball headed to Holder. He's up with it and over to first for the second out of the inning. So a 6-3 and a 5-3, that's going to bring up Stewart. Now batting the shortstop, Andrew Stewart. Two outs. Stewart steps in. He takes ball 1. Stewart has a hit, strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out. Led off the game with a base hit. Scored the first run for the Cougars. That's outside ball 2. So 2-0 the count on the leadoff hitter and shortstop, Stewart. for the Barton Cougars. Just misses a little bit low. 3 balls and no strikes and 2 outs. Comes the 3-0. Strike right through there. 3-1. Comes the 3-1. It's a foul ball. So 3 straight balls and then 2 straight strikes for a 3-2 count on Stewart, the shortstop. Comes the stretch and the 3-2. There's another foul ball down the third baseline side. So we'll do the 3-2 again. Comes the pitch. Ball 4 high. So a 2-out walk to Stewart. Gets a couple of foul balls with a 3-2 count and then works the walk. It's going to bring up Harrison Dank. Now batting the right fielder, Harrison Dank. Dank's had a hit, a fly out, hit by a pitch, stolen base, and a ground out. Throw over to first, back in safely is Stewart. Fly ball into left field. Underneath that is Hinestroza for the 3rd out. So we're going to go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 3. Stick around. So 0-1 on Santiago. Santiago leads off the bottom of the 9th. Santiago, Hinestroza, and Sosa. That foul makes it just out of territory to play. There's a pop-up on the infield. The third baseman, Bandera, is going to take care of that for the 1st out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Hinestroza. Now batting the left fielder, Eric Hinestroza. Going to have a visit to the mound. I'm guessing we're going to see a left-handed pitcher. We'll get that change and we'll be back. All right, number 28, Patrick McClure comes in to pitch for the Cougars, bring in a lefty to face the left-handed hitting Eric Hinostroza. Hinostroza has a double, a single, and a strikeout. He's going to step in with one out and nobody on. Strike on the outside corner. So we're in the bottom of the ninth. Blue Devils need a run to walk this thing off and send this playoff game into game 3 tomorrow. McClure has another idea. We'll see. There's a foul ball out of play. So quickly 0-2. Hino down in the count, so 0-2 with one out. Just misses a little bit low. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the left fielder, Eric Hinostroza. Comes the 1-2. Little chopper out front, and that's going to be an infield hit for Eric Hinostroza. It's going to bring up Jose Sosa. We'll check things out. We're probably going to have a pinch runner possibly and a pitching change. So we'll get those changes and we'll be back. Colton Crisp on to pitch for the Cougars. It's going to bring up Jose Sosa. Now batting the first baseman, Jose Sosa. So 1 out, 1 on for Sosa. The winning run is at first base. There's a fly ball to right field, right pretty much at Harrison Dank. Dank takes care of that for the second out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Tyler Henry. He's going to be up there with an opportunity to keep this thing going. We're tied at 3. Now batting the right fielder, Tyler Henry. There's a ball headed to left center. Long run for the center fielder. And Chandler Kelly makes the play on that bid to walk that thing off. So we're going to the 10th. Stay with us. We'll find out who's going to win this thing and what happens for those trying to go to Wichita to the college tournament. Gabriel Ramos comes in to pitch for the Blue Devils. He's scheduled to face Geeky, Bloomer, and Pila. Geeky has 3 hits and a strikeout in this game. That pitch just catches the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's had a single, then an RBI double, then another double. Here comes the 1-1. The foul ball back and out of play. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to the left fielder, Geeky. Here comes the pitch from Ramos. Misses just a little bit inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Geeky. It's a ball headed for right field. That's going to be a base hit. Thinks about going for 2, and he is, and he's going to be in safely with a leadoff double for Geeky. That is 4 out of 5 with 3 doubles for Geeky. Now batting the catcher, Chandler Bloomer. Swing and a miss of that first pitch from Ramos. So the go-ahead run, we had a left-hander batting a while ago with a runner at second, and they did not bunt. They ended up getting a ground out, too harder to move him over. 0-1 the count, runner at second. There's a ground ball headed into right field. So here comes the throw to home, and the go-ahead run is scored on that single RBI by Bloomer. Now batting the designated hitter, Charlie Pila. There's a ball headed into the corner. That's going to be an RBI double for Pila. So 2 runs in the inning and still not an out. So an RBI double. And that makes it 5-3. Now batting the third baseman, Tyler Bandera. Swing and a miss of that first pitch from Ramos to Bandera. So 2 runs in the inning. Still nobody out. Runner at second base. Oh, and 1. There's a little check swing headed for right field. Back to take care of that is Jose Sosa. So 1 out. It's going to bring up Riley. Now batting number 16, the first baseman, Nolan Riley. So 1 out, 2 runs in the inning for the Cougars to take a 5-3 lead here in the top of the 10th. That pitch misses outside, 1-0. Runner at second, 1 out. There's a ground ball right off the foot of the pitcher. He's going to throw to first. We're going to get an appeal here after this timeout. The pitcher makes a real sidearm throw and may have pulled Sosa off. We're going to check the home plate umpire, and I bet they're going to call him safe that it pulled him off, but we're going to see. So a ball right off the foot of Ramos and bounced back in front of him. He hustled up and got it. They're going to call him safe. I thought that might be the case because of pulling Sosa off is what he was going to call. Coach is as animated and livid as I have seen him on the call. So he's going to be safe at first base. And that is going to be a hit for Riley off of the pitcher's foot. That's going to be 1 out with runners at first and third. Now batting number 15, Brett Erickson. All right, one out. Runners at first and second. There's a bunt. Going to come home with it, and they call him safe at home. I thought they had a chance to get him, but a bunt. That's going to leave things with runners at first and second. Things happening fast and furious here. Now batting number 8, Billy Coleman. Pinch hitter, Billy Coleman. So things happening fast and furious. Sosa with the glove hand trying to get the ball to Goodfellow, but not till after the runner had scored. So now 6-3. That misses just a little bit inside. So Billy Coleman, the pinch hitter, he's taken 2 balls. 2-0 the count. Runners on first and second with 1 out. A little bit low for ball 3. So 3-0 to the pinch hitter, Coleman. Inside ball 4. The shortstop, Andrew Stewart. So the bases loaded for Stewart. A little bit low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, infield, in at the grass. 3 runs in the inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. There's a ball hit to deep left field. That ball, Hinestroz's back to catch that. So a sac fly for Stewart to make it 7-3. Now batting the right fielder, Harrison Dank. Strike 1 called. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. There's a ground ball headed to Sosa. He's got it. Gets it to Ramos. Ramos to the bag. So the 3rd out of the inning. But the damage done and some work to be done by the Blue Devils. The Cougars put up 4. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Blue Devils need 4 to tie this thing up and 5 to win it. Stay with us. We'll be back. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Blue Devils trailing by 4. Now batting the catcher, J.T. Goodfellow. Goodfellow, Harder, and Bednar scheduled up for the Blue Devils. They're down 4 batting here in the bottom of the the bottom of the 10th. Inside and high, ball one. Colton Crisp back to the mound for another inning of work for the Cougars. A lot of work to be done by the Blue Devils. Goodfellow to try and get it started. He's had a couple of hits. There's a strike through there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Goodfellow has 2 RBIs, 1 on a sac bunt, and then a couple of base hits besides. So here comes the 1-1. Just a little bit inside, so 2 balls and a strike on the catcher, J.T. Goodfellow. Comes the 2-1. Inside, ball 3. Three and 1 the count on the catcher, Goodfellow. There's a strike right through there at the knees. 3 and 2 the count on J.T. Goodfellow. Ball headed to center field. In to take care of that is Coleman for the first out. It's going to bring up Harder. Now batting the second baseman, Trace Harder. Harder takes strike 1. He's had a ground out, an RBI base hit, and a couple of pop outs. There's another one right in the same spot, outside corner at the knees. So 0-2 quickly. Crisp ahead of Harder. 1 out. That's up high for ball 1. Not chasing was Trace. So 1 and 2 the count. 1 out. There's a little defensive swing and a fly out to right field. Dank to take care of that. So for the time being, or down to the last out, are the Blue Devils. It's going to bring up Bednar. Bednar's had a fly out, a couple of walks, and a ground out. Now batting the shortstop, Kemper Bednar. There's a pitch right through there on the inside corner. 0-1 the count to Kemper Bednar. Comes the 0-1. Plop up down the first baseline, and that's going to be taken care of by the first baseman, Riley. So the 2-game series to go to Wichita goes to the Cougars of Barton. They win yesterday and today, a final today of 7-3. Want to thank you all that listened this year. That will do it for the Blue Devils. I appreciate the opportunity to bring the games to you. I hope you enjoy those games as much as I enjoy bringing them to you. So until next year, be safe, enjoy your baseball, and we will see you next year